ain't nothing.
Welcome back to Everything Goes. Today I'm in the studio with my man E.
That sure we back in this pup. What's up with y'all?
You know what I mean? And we're gonna jump right into it with MOTD, moment of today. What was your moment of the day for the games that just happened this past Sunday?
My moment of the day was the Smitty bomb in the Eagles game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the last 3 weeks been been rough for us from a play
That,
calling standpoint, from a productivity standpoint, from a wins and losses standpoint. We just haven't been clicking, and we know that we got the personnel to not be playing football the way that we have been. I
mm-hmm.
think that was needed not only for us as a fan base, but also as Smitty. Smitty ain't been as vocal as AJ with the amount of touches and targets and production that he's getting, but we know the guys that are good want the ball. And he went out and had a monster game. I think he had 9 receptions on like 11 or 12 targets for being 83.
Receiver yards.
Yeah, so that's a career high for him. I know the fans, we love and embrace Smitty, and it's good that the non diva of the two got to just go and put belt to the other team and go out and win that. So that's my moment of the day.
Before I get my moment of the day, I just want to piggyback off of something you just said. Yeah, I definitely think it was good that Smitty got to go out there and go off because, like you said, he hasn't been as vocal as AJ, but that doesn't mean that he don't also feel some type of way. He's just not going to voice it as much as AJ, but he still want to get the ball. Like you said, he's a top flight wide receiver as well. So I'm happy that him and AJ both was able to go out there and put up a big game. Both got in the end zone. I think it was what AJ got in the end zone twice.
Yes, sir.
Smitty got in once, had a career high receiving yard. So they both had a good day. And you mean, like you said, that was your moment of the day, and I was happy to see that being a Philadelphia guy that loves football. But so for me, my moment of the day was that Broncos comeback win. Because I told you I had a ticket on it, and that was my last leg that I needed. And I'm putting up 33 points in the fourth quarter and then coming back and winning the game with that the game winning field goal with only 37 seconds left. Like y'all gave Bo Nix back the ball with 37 seconds. He drove down the field and got the game winning field goal after already putting up 30 points prior to that field goal in that fourth quarter alone. Like that was a crazy quarter of football. Like the game really ain't start until that fourth quarter.
No
Kind
worry, right?
us with them the week before when they played you guys. They ain't start playing football until the fourth quarter. So in back to back weeks, they showed up and showed out in the fourth quarter. And so yesterday, that was my moment of the day.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate any and all support. Thank you.
And so moving on to our game of today, catch or pass, and our first statement for catch or pass: the Bills are throwing away their best chance at winning the Super Bowl.
I don't think they throwing away their best chance. I think they're not helping their case right now. They could be creating a bigger gap between them and the rest of the AFC, Colts aside. I think
Mhm,
that the Colts have a great trajectory to be the 1 or 2 seed in the AFC just because their division stinks.
mhm.
Like 1000% their division stinks. And even with the Jags, like I said, Trevor Lawrence is playing solid football, but they schedule's turning up as well a little bit, and I think he just lost 3 straight or 2 straight. So
Mhm.
I think that outside of the Colts, it's upwards for the Bills, and they lost 2 winnable games. One of them a division game, so that's never really a super surprise unless you're losing to like two or something like that. But even Tua played good football against the Bills, so I don't think that they throwing away their chance to go compete. I think that as long as Pat is second or third in his division that they got a shot. Um, I think that that's their biggest threat. I don't think that their seeding is the end all be all of what their playoffs look like as long as Pat ain't a higher seed than they are.
Gotcha. So you passing on this one?
Absolutely passing.
Me, I'm gonna catch this train. Surprisingly, I understand that the Bills are 4-2, but for me, I look at it like this: the Bills are a team that, like, it don't really matter what their record is in the regular season. They gotta perform in the postseason, and so I feel like right now they're not laying down the proper foundation for them to be to perform in the postseason. I feel like they've only played one complete game all year, and that was week 2 against the Jets. Even though they was 4-0 when they beat the Saints, which is my team, they didn't really look all that good, all that impressive. When they beat the Dolphins, they didn't really look all that good, all that impressive. The Dolphins actually could have won the game, if Tua didn't throw the interception late in the fourth quarter to seal a win for the Bills. So I just look at it like y'all haven't looked great all year, even though y'all were winning games and y'all was set up with the best position at 4-0, being number one in the AFC, where y'all could have started putting things together and trying to put things behind y'all. But since y'all lost 2 straight, now y'all going into the bye week thinking about the 2 straight that y'all just lost, and now y'all got to correct that and get that back together. Instead of, okay, we going into the bye week, we 6-0, we haven't been playing our best football, but we're still 6-0. Now let's just correct these small little changes that we need to make, and then we come out our bye week hitting our stride. I just feel like the Bills are a team that plays off of momentum. And
Uh-huh.
then another thing that I did not like, Josh Allen is my guy. I like Josh Allen as a quarterback, but I did not like what he said this past week, talking about that only God knows when he will win the Super Bowl. What? Like I understand it, but at the same time I don't understand it. Like, saying it's not in your hand. Yes, it is. What
Right.
are you talking about?
Right.
Every year you step on that football field, you can go out there and beat Pat. Josh, God did not have his mind made up that Pat was going to beat you in the playoffs every year. Stop. Don't say that. Don't make me mad. As my franchise quarterback, I'm not a Bills fan, but I'm talking as as a person that watch football, just period.
Right.
I want my franchise quarterback saying that it's not like only God knows when. Like, it's not up for it. What you mean? Elaborate on that. That would
What do you mean by that?
yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
No, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think that you're absolutely right in terms of that's not the right mindset to have, not only as a franchise quarterback but as an MVP. Like you can assert yourself and your your presence on these football games. A little pushback though on what you're saying in terms of like the Bills being a momentum team. I don't disagree with that, but I also think that this bye week coming where it's located right now can be good for them. Just in
Mhm.
the same in the same way that you said it could be bad. If you reverse that, look at the Eagles team again. I'm speaking from an Eagles fan perspective. Look at the Eagles team from 2 years ago,
Mhm.
where we started the season 11-0 or 12-0, whatever that was. And most of us fans on a week to week basis had something to complain about, whether it was the secondary, whether it was the lack of balance in terms of the attack. We had
Mhm.
something to complain about on a week to week basis. And a lot of people were saying, what are y'all complaining about? A win is a win. Y'all keep finding ways to win, or even the Chiefs from last year. But when you get to that point where instead of that one, big play, that interception that we get to seal the game, instead that's a touchdown for the other team, then we in a different situation. And I think that our mindset going into the bye week that year was we find ways to win games. Not saying that they didn't go looking for room to improve, but I think
But
that sometimes you got to lose games that don't matter to light a fire up under you. And it's
okay.
better for them to lose to the Falcons in week 3 or 4 than to be 6-0 or 7-0 and then lose to a team that we feel like we prepared for because y'all got punched in the mouth and y'all weren't actually as good as y'all thought y'all were.
Got you. So I agree with everything you just said. I don't have no pushback on that. So yeah, I think we lockstep in that one. I don't disagree with you at all. So yeah, moving on to the second statement of catch or pass. After 3 games, Dylan Gabriel has shown enough to continue to start for the Cleveland Browns.
I'm going to catch that train. Right.
Hey, stop.
I'm gonna catch the train because I think it depends on what your intentions are as a franchise in terms of what you feel like the future of your team is. And what I mean by that is, I think if right now they're trying to figure out the best quarterback for their system for this year, and they consider themselves in win now mode or trying to win as many games as possible this year, then there is
Mhm.
no right answer to that simply because we have not seen Shador Sanders play football. But
Gotcha.
I think that if y'all looking long term, then you have to give somebody room to fail or to mess up and fix it before you determine if this is your quarterback of the future or not. So I think it would be dumb of them to say in 3 games, okay, Dylan, you've won one game you look mid, one game you look terrible, and we've seen enough. Now let's throw Shador in there and we 1-5 or we 2-4. Because at that point, what are you playing for besides to continue to build a resume and look at what this quarterback does versus what this quarterback does. Now, if Dylan played 4 or 5 more games and he's mid for the rest of those 5 or 6 games, then maybe you consider starting Shador at that point in time because you got to see what value he can bring to the team, and you don't want to have to wait an entire offseason going into an offseason with those kind of question marks. But I think for right now, 3 games is not enough of a sample size for you to decide that Dylan Gabriel is not capable of playing quarterback for your team right now. And I don't think that he's had a meltdown or anything of that sense to the point where it's like, no, sit him down. He's not ready for this position right now.
Got you. So for me, I agree with just about everything you're saying. This was a easy one for me. I'm catching this train all the way. Dylan Gabriel, he's played 3 games, like you said. He's 1-2 in the games that he played, but I do think he played well enough in his first start against the Vikings for them to win that game. That was what over in London. That was the early game. I
Right.
do think. I think he played well enough for them to win that game. So he is 1-2 as a starter. Could be 2-1, and he does have 2 passing touchdowns, 530 passing yards in the 3 games. But the one biggest stat: no turnovers. This is a rookie quarterback. Three straight starts, no turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. That's the biggest stat right there. His completion percentage can definitely improve. He's around 60%. Like obviously his completion percentage can improve, passing yards can improve, but he's not turning the ball over. And like you said, he hasn't had like a tremendous meltdown, or he hasn't looked like a complete fool on the play. And it's like why are you even out there? Like he hasn't looked bad. So I think he's earned enough to continue to start for the Browns. I think he should play at least bare minimum 2 to 3 more games. And if he continues to look like this, then I think you don't just say he's not the starter. I do think you just want to see what Shador look like because, like you said, you don't want to go into the next offseason not playing Shador. And it's just like you don't want to do that. You want to give both rookie quarterbacks the opportunity to show something if the first one is not playing like above average. You get what I'm saying? And
Right.
he's just playing. He's playing. I'm not gonna say he's playing below average, but he's playing okay football right now.
Right.
Not playing good enough to go out there and win you games, but him being back there as the quarterback is not losing the Browns games, and that's what their previous quarterbacks has been doing. So honestly, so they can't be mad with what Dylan Gabriel has been doing so far. And if I was in charge over there, he would definitely be starting for me next week. So moving on to the last statement, a catch a pass. We got to come home to Philly a little bit. The 76ers will be a top 4 seed and make some noise this postseason.
I'm catching the train. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care what nobody say. I
Okay,
think that as Philly fans, we are angry right now.
definitely.
Like, it don't matter what sports you talking about, we angry and we kind of fed up and we tired of talent not producing results.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that sometimes our opinion on what we have in front of us are skewed. If you ask, our former host and Will, like, we should get rid of PG and Joel before the season starts. And I've
Mm-hmm.
had my times where I felt like that, and I've looked at the possibilities of what could come with that. But realistically, if you look at what we have on the roster right now, if what we have on the roster right now is what we put out on the floor, and we put that on the floor for 60 to 65 games, I think we're in a great spot to finish in the top 4, top 3 seed in the
Mm-hmm.
East. I think that Joel, in terms of his health on a year in, year out basis, is always a question mark. That's up to Joel. one person on the team that has a bad rep in terms of his health history that I don't think is as bad as, what people make it to be is Paul George. And especially in the last 3 to 4 years where he has had injuries. But again, if you look at, and I watched like his podcast and some of that stuff over, the summer and stuff of that, he
Mm-hmm.
was hurt majority of the year. And you know how I feel. If you hurt, you responsible for whatever happens when you step
When
on
you
the
go
court.
out there,
You decided to go out there and play hurt, so we
hurt.
get to judge you based off what you did while you was hurt. But we could see that he was not himself,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe he's not max PG anymore. But last year he averaged 16 points a game. Anybody could do that. I know that Paul George is still a 20-point scorer in the NBA. He's not an elite two-way player anymore, but he can still guard. He can still create for our team. You put that on the floor, I think that one, he's going to be a great veteran for VJ. I don't know that VJ will have immediate production on this team, but even if you look at preseason or summer league games, he's shown his promise and his ability to step into whatever role we, feel like we need him to play, and he's gonna openly embrace that. Our guards are coming back as well. We in that preseason game the other day, you had Maxi, I think 26, Quentin Grimes had 22, and VJ had like 24. So even if the output from VJ is not that consistent, Quentin Grimes and Maxi are going to see the floor for sure. Right,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to see the floor for sure. When Jeremy Kane heals from his finger injury, he'll see the court as well. I think we got enough range in terms of what our team has to offer from a defensive side, from a shooting side, from a guard and creating side, and then we still have, when healthy, a top five, top three player in the league right now. I
Mm-hmm.
think we got enough. Considering all that, put that on top of the fact that the Celtics don't have Jason Tatum for the entirety of a year. The Bucks didn't get really better in the offseason. They lost Dame, they signed Miles Turner, but I just don't think that there was enough noise in the East. I think that some teams got better. The Magic got better, the Hawks got better. The Knicks signed Jordan Clarkson. So I think that there's enough noise, that people will compete, but I don't think that there's anybody that I'm looking at in the East like, yeah, we can't compete with y'all. So it's really up to us play calling and how healthy we are. And I think that as long as our only health concern is Joel for our 82 games of the regular season, I think we'll be in a good place going into the playoffs.
So for me, this was definitely easy. I'm also catch the train with you as well. I just looking at your roster, like you said, okay, you got Joel, you got Paul George, you still got Kelly Oubre, who I wanted y'all to grab. When y'all grabbed him, I told Will that y'all needed to pick him up X amount of years ago when y'all grabbed that man. And then I also told you this off season that y'all need to go grab my man VJ, and he balling. Granted, it was summer league and preseason, but you said you don't know if his impact is going to be immediate. I know his impact is going to be immediate. He's not going to go out there and get 24 consistently, but if he plays 15 games, he's going to grab 24 at least 3 or 4 times in them 15 games, bare minimum. I'm telling you that right now. He's going to have an impact for y'all immediately starting next season. So you got VJ out there. You still got Jared McCain once he come back from his injury. Like y'all have so many guards, obviously with Tyrese Maxey, who is your all-star guard. And then you still got who was it? Maxi, I'm missing one. It's Maxi, McCain, VJ, Quentin Grimes. So yeah,
Grimes,
y'all got four solid guards. Like no weaknesses with any of them guards. So you're not going to see a old Reggie Jackson or an old Kyle Lowry out there trying to steal minutes here and there. No more. Y'all have four legit guards. On the wings, like you said, you got PG. As long as PG is able to stay healthy, you got Kelly Oubre, and then you got big fella down low Joel Embiid. If
and we
Joel
got two backup bigs too now. We got two backup bigs that are doing
that
different things
right,
on different sides of the ball.
y'all got the board then Bono or something, right? That y'all
Yeah, yeah. Bona, yeah, that it's Bona. He African. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
okay.
he the athlete. He gonna catch the lobs, and then you got Johnny Broom that can be creative offensively and know where to be in the right spot. So
So I think your roster is set up for y'all to succeed. Like you said, is just gonna come down to the health of Joel Embiid, but that's what it is every year. As
right,
long as he's healthy this year, and with the way the East look, Tatum is not gonna be there, so the Celtics are not gonna be the Celtics. I'm not scared of Cleveland. Like
at
I don't know.
all.
Oh, they could. I don't know what they did to me last year that they had me thinking that they wasn't going to do the same thing that they always do. Get folded up in the first round. You know, we want to talk about them no more. So yeah, Cleveland, no. The Magic did definitely get better, and y'all know I like Pablo Ranquero, but he's not about to. He's not beating the Sixers by himself. Granted, he does got Desmond Bain, and they do got Wagner over there, but no. So I don't. I mean, who else is over there? You got.
Trey. Trey is our biggest threat. My
I'm
and
not.
my Trey and Giannis going into the season
I'm not
is our
worried about
biggest threats.
playing Trey. Trey, and that's my guy, but he play in Trey. I'm not. I'm not worried about him. I'm not
He
worried about.
he is playing Trey, but he got a better team around him. They got better quietly in the offseason.
They traded for KP. They rookie is this is his second year. He coming into his own. He did look nice last year, and they traded for what's the name? What was it? Bogdan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So
you got Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels, who both got hurt towards the end of the year last year.
Tyson
Dyson
Daniels,
Daniels led the league in
but
steals,
yeah, a nice
and
two way.
right, exactly. And Jalen Johnson was coming into his own, averaging like 15, 16 before he got hurt as well.
So, but they counting on KP to be the KP from the Knicks or from the Magic. I mean, from the Mavericks. His first year there before he got hurt. Is KP still that guy? He's been dealing with health concerns ever since he got traded to Boston. That's one of the reasons they let him go.
No, you're right, but also I think that they are in a similar situation to Boston, even though we look at it a little different. Boston never banked on KP being available.
No,
When
no,
KP when KP showed up to work, it was like, cool,
we
go
got
ahead, get out there, big fella. Like, welcome to work. Go ahead, go play. But they had bigs that could do his job and not do what he could do. But they had two to three other guys that could make up one
make up
Kristaps
with
Porzingis when
listen
he
from
wasn't out there. Atlanta is in a similar situation where they just let Clint Capella and he signed with y'all for whatever reason, but they still got the African cuz Okongwu or whatever playing center. He doing
yeah,
the same thing Clint Capella was. He catching lives, he rebounding, and he block shots. He not gonna get you 3 blocks a game, but he gonna do what you need your center to do. They got fours and threes that are long and lengthy, no diddy, but they can stretch the floor and space the floor. So when you don't have KP out there, you got a dominant interior force. And when you do got KP out there, you got a big that can pass, that can stretch the floor, that can get streaky and score 15 points in a 4 minute span. So I think that if they go and try to create a game plan or an offense around KP, then they'll be in trouble. But if they just grab KP as, playoff security, which is
mhm.
something that they haven't had going into the playoffs because
And
nobody talk about Trey been by himself since he got into the league. And he don't complain, he just go out there and compete. And we know that he want to have a chance to go win a championship, but he's still out there competing. So I think that if they plan for KP to be in and out the lineup, then they'll be in a good space.
okay, so I think obviously I do think that y'all would be favored if everybody stay healthy. I don't see nobody on the East beating y'all, but
Right.
I guess the Hawks could put up a decent matchup, and then the Knicks obviously can put up a good fight. I like the Knicks roster, but I don't think the Bucks going to do too much. What was they big signing? Miles Turner.
Yes, sir. And they re-signed Bobby Porter.
You think? So I'm not worried too much about them. Yeah, not at all. So yeah. Moving on to our first topic of today. Are the Colts legit contenders after starting the season 6-1?
They have to be because who else is 6-1?
Mhm.
It's nobody else playing football the way that the Colts are playing football right now. And when I talked last week about a team having an identity, I
Mhm.
pointed to the Lions, which by the way they putting belt to the Bucks right now, which would make nobody 6-1 if they do win this game. Um, but I just think that the Colts have a good recipe for success right now.
Mhm.
I think that their defense is good enough to do their job week in and week out. The defense don't have outside of Zaire Franklin, and I think they got a cornerback that can cover. But outside of those two guys, they don't have a big name guy on defense that we like game planning for.
Mhm.
But they are good enough that it don't matter that we got a big name guy. We play our system, and y'all can't figure us out right now. I think that their defense makes timely plays, and they are pretty consistent in terms of their output. Offensively, they got I don't want to say a star, but they got an impact player on three levels. So they got JT in the backfield controlling the vibes and laying the foundation for how we about to play football. We
Mm,
start a running game early that opens up play action. They got Tyler Warren, which is always he's really a three-level threat. But if you start him underneath to make Daniel Jones' life a little more easier, a little more comfortable, helps move the ball once that get going. Okay, cool. You got JT out the backfield. You got JT for dump offs. You got Tyler Warren, short field or midfield distances. Then you still got 2 to 3 receivers and Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and whatever third receiver you want to throw out there that's able to create space and, create opportunities down the field. So I think that they have a recipe for success right now. Like I said, their division stinks. Um, for various reasons, I don't think it's necessarily, completely quarterback's fault in that division, but at the end of the day, the division stinks. So it's set for them to be at least the number one in their division. And I think that pretty much like what we talked about for, other topics on the show, there are other teams that are not helping their case right now. The
mm-hmm.
Chiefs are losing games that they shouldn't be losing. The Bills have lost a couple games that they didn't have to lose. The Ravens are 1-4, 1-5, losing games that they shouldn't be losing. So it's a lot of teams right now that's simply not winning games that they should be, and the Colts are. So I think that they pathway right now, as long as Daniel Jones don't revert back to what we come to grow to expect from him before this year,
Yeah.
then the Colts are set for smooth sailing into the playoffs.
Yeah, so for me, this was also easy. I think they definitely are legit contenders. You can't be 6-1 and not be contenders, especially with the teams that they were able to beat. And they only lost this year is to the Rams. And in my opinion, the Rams are a legit
Yeah, the
contender.
Rams could beat anybody in the league.
So you can't hang your hat on that. And they only lost that game by, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 points. And they played the game and they was on the road at that. So the Colts have been looking great this year. The way that their offense is set up, I love the way that their offense is set up. And people haven't been talking too much about it because a lot of people don't watch the Colts. But JT is quietly having a Saquon type of year that Saquon had last year. JT is doing his thing this year. Obviously, Daniel Jones has been holding it down at the quarterback position. And that rookie tight end, Tyler Warren, I tried to tell y'all during fantasy. I said, oh, y'all left my man Warren for me. All right, watch this. Every ball that Daniel Jones throw is going to that man. So Tyler Warren has been holding it down. And then when they ready to hit somebody over the top, because Daniel Jones has been able to deliver a bunch of deep balls this year that I didn't think he would be able to, but they've been hitting Alec Pierce over the top, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. So like their offense is built for success because their wide receivers come last, but they're okay with that. And
Right.
when they get their opportunities, they make the most of it. And that's all you can ask for. And like you said, their defense, they play together. And 9 times out of 10, that's where you have some of the best defenses, where it's just one star player, and then it's a bunch of guys who you don't even know their names. But when they go out there on Sunday, you know they laying wood. You know they putting niggas in the dirt, and that's the Colts right now. They're going to show up. They're going to make the right plays. They're going to pressure your quarterback. If they need to get a 3-and-out, they're going to go out there and get a 3-and-out. And so the Colts are just playing great football. And for me, the thing that make them contenders is I look at it like this. Would I favor them in the matchup against KC or Buffalo in the playoffs? No. But what I will say is if they go up 10-0, do I think they can hold on to that lead? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I just want to second what you said in terms of how you view like JT, what he's doing for his team, and is very Saquon-ish. That's really like when we picked the topics earlier, that's the first thing that came to our mind. Cause I'm really like, y'all cannot, Jonathan Taylor can't score 2 to 3 touchdowns a week. But why not though? Like,
Yes, because that's what
y'all
they're doing.
not stopping him. That's the recipe right now. We're gonna give him the pill. We blocking. I don't know where they got this offensive line from, but they blocking their ass off. And JT hit once he get that second line of vision, it's food. So it's
I
a
feel
recipe
like
for success right now. And Daniel Jones, he just got to go I was about to say just go out and beat Jalen, like that simple. Jalen can
Mhm.
hoop, so it's not that. But if you go out and you don't hurt your team and you just allow JT to lead and you follow that, then it's a recipe for success, like you said.
Exactly. I feel like every Sunday I see JT in the end zone doing this. Every
No,
Sunday,
no kizzy. Like,
hey, in
who
the
is
end
this
zone, hit
boy? Like,
me. Every Sunday I see JT showing out in the end zone.
JT and Daniel Jones about to be in MVP voting. Like,
Don't- they about to be co-MVP on the same break. So yeah, moving on to the last topic today, we got some more basketball for you guys. Who is the biggest threat to OKC heading into the NBA season?
I think it's two threats on the West.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in the East, I'ma really say, well, no, that's cat. In the West, the two threats, the biggest threat is Denver. I think that Denver got better in the offseason quietly. I think that last year Denver was good enough to beat OKC and they got hurt. And again, injuries is part of the game. Everybody experiences it. But they were a game away from sealing that and going back to the finals for real. And that was already playing without a guy and two guys on the court was my MPJ was out there one arm and AG went out there with half a hamstring and they still barely lost. I think they went and got somebody in Cam Johnson who can do pretty much everything MPJ did except catch fire. But I think that Cam Johnson is a significantly better defender and he's a more willing passer. So I think that their offense and how they flow is going to look great this year. They
Mm-hmm.
also signed Bruce Brown, and not that I expect him to come back and be what he was the first time he was here, but he's a guy that is somewhat considered a veteran now. He's comfortable in a locker room. He understands their system, and who doesn't love playing with Jokic? I think that that's a team where everybody can feed off of his ability to create, and their success come playoff time is really dependent upon can Jamal Murray be healthy and then not take him a series and a half to figure out how to play basketball and be productive. Houston, the only reason I wouldn't say that they are the biggest threat is because we don't know what you guys' lineups look like with KD on the floor right now. And we don't know, as of right now, we don't know where the production comes from once that starting five is subbed.
Down. Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, I think that those are the two biggest threats to OKC just in terms of matchups, in terms of talent, in terms of if you also consider the coaching behind it. Well, not really Denver because Mike Malone should never have been fired. But I think that MA can outcoach OKC in a series if given the opportunity. I think that Jokic can outcoach from the court. And the East, I really want to say I don't think that anybody can bang with OKC right now. I'm gonna say this, and this is the beginning of the season. Like my bold prediction, I
Mm-hmm.
think that if the Magic can figure out their roles by the midway mark by the All Star break, if the Magic can be a top four seed by the All Star break and figure out their roles and understand who is 1A, who is 1B, or who is 2 and who is 3, and they can be comfortable in those roles, I
Mm-hmm.
think that the Magic have a unit that is built to succeed and they can play similar to how the Pacers did last year. I think that the only difference is the Magic have a better skill set and better skill kind of guys. But I think in terms of the motor, in terms of the way that they can play basketball, I think that they can do the running gun and match the young athleticism kind of approach and the
Yep.
lengthy like with the wings of a OKC.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that they would have to get to, the championship. And I don't know that they have that mature guy, that veteran that can make sure that they don't have the mental lapses in the playoffs. But I
Mm-hmm.
think that the way that their team is constructed, they could compete with OKC as well. Outside of that, and if the Sixers are healthy, because again, if we get to the finals, then Hartenstein or somebody got to go guard Joel. I don't think it'll be what they made it to be with Jokic, because Jokic is still trying to pass the pill, and Joel is going to be trying to kill. But
Mm-hmm.
that's me having wishful thinking. Right now, I'm not banking on anything Sixers related, come postseason because I got to see what Joel looks like.
In the regular season. Mm-hmm. So for me, this was also easy. So we got the same two teams on the West right now. I do think it's just two teams. I got to see more from the Lakers or Minnesota or even a Golden State before I even start to consider them. But for right now, the only two teams that I am considering are the Nuggets and the Rockets. I got the Nuggets at one because they got, if you don't want to say the best player, you say second best player in the NBA right now, and Nikola Jokic, and he's been balling. He's been playing great basketball, and then he got a good team around him, like you said. They got Cam Johnson now, and I think that's just a swap with him and MPJ. But to be honest, he's going to go out there and guard, and he might even be a little bit more consistent. Now,
Right.
is he going to get as hot and give you a 30-point game? Probably not.
Right.
But
His ceiling not as high, but his floor is higher
you're
than
get that
MPJ too.
consistent 16, 18 that you need. He
Right.
not going to go out there one night and give you a 7 or a 9 piece.
And he not shooting 25 shots either.
No, and he's never going to complain. So I like that. Like you said, they brought back Bruce Brown, who was a valuable piece to them. He was a valuable piece for them when they won the chip that year. And they even said it. They didn't want him to leave that offseason, but he left for the
He
bigger.
wanted to go get paid, real rap. He got his cheese, came back to come win.
He got a ring. When he got paid, all right, I'll come back, try to get another ring. It is what it is. Can't be mad at him for that. And so the second team I got obviously is my Houston Rockets. I got us at number 2 only because we are outside of KD and Steven Adams. Everybody else that's going to be playing in heavy in our rotation is a young guy. And so I got to see what we look like again come postseason. I got us at number 2, and this could be wishful thinking. I probably would have had us at number 1 if Fred VanVleet didn't get hurt, but him being hurt right now, out for the year, definitely dropped us down to number 2. But I do think the experience that we got last year, going to 7 games with that veteran squad and Golden State like that, even though that was one series, like I feel like that was so much experience for my young guys, and I
Mm.
think it's going to help them improve a lot going into this season. So I got us number 2. The roster that we got with trading for KD, we basically had Kevin Durant and what's my
Jalen
and
Green swap.
Kevin Durant and Dorian Finney-Smith, and swapped them out with Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. That's all we did, and we still got the same. Everybody else is still there. We just swapped them 2 out. So
I don't know why I forgot about Dorian Finney-Smith. Like he
yeah,
did lead the Lakers to go sign with y'all.
because
But
but yeah, he's a wing, but we're not expecting him to come off the ball and consistently score and handle the rock. So we still got to see what we're going to get from our young guards and Reed Shepard, Min Thompson, and then these other guys that we signed deeper in the bench like a Josh Okogie or a JDC. How they can improve our roster when they get into the game, because like you said, we don't know where our scoring is coming from when the starting 5 sit down. We're hoping that is going to come from, a Reed Shepard and a Tari Easton and a Dorian Finney-Smith and et cetera, et cetera. But we got to see it come from them. We got to see it.
right.
So that's why we're at number 2 and not number 1, but definitely still a threat. And then on the East, for me, it's just 2 teams. The first team, I think, is the Knicks. If the Knicks are able to gel and play like together fully how they are supposed to, because I don't know if you remember last year, it was a whole bunch of pointing fingers. People was pointing fingers at Cat. Then people was pointing fingers at Mikal Bridges. Then people was pointing fingers at Tibbs. Then they was like, it was just a whole bunch of finger pointing. If everybody get on one page and do their job, do they role. Y'all got 2 guys that can lock down, and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Both of them can score the ball if you need them to. You got your big playmaker and Jalen Brunson. You got your star center and Karl Anthony Town. Y'all got some bench pieces now with having a Josh Hart, like you just said. They added a Jordan Clarkson, because that was another thing that they was looking at. Like, okay, after Josh Hart, who else is coming off the bench and giving us consistent points? Because we had to trade some of these other guys away, like a DiVincenzo cat. So now we missing that scoring on the bench. So hopefully Jordan Clarkson can replace some of that for them. So I do think that the Knicks could possibly be a legitimate threat for OKC. And then, like you said, the last team, I gotta see y'all be fully healthy. But if y'all fully healthy, it's no doubt in my mind that y'all can compete with any team on the West.
I think I think for the Knicks, my bigger concern is their approach to basketball. I think that
New coach.
the new coach won, yeah, new system because
Mm-hmm.
last year was very JB centric,
Yes.
and it was situations where it worked because he was going to go get 40, or he was playing basketball and then in the last 8 minutes he went and killed.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that that's cool during a playoff run, or that's cool in a situation where everybody feels like win now. But for 82 games to go out and watch Jalen Brunson play basketball, I don't think that that is something that the rest of the Knicks are, wanting to
Looking
do.
forward to seeing.
Yeah, and like when you're saying in terms of like the finger pointing and stuff like that, like there was times like yeah, we played college ball together, but college ball that was Jay Wright's team and Jalen Brunson was running the point guard. Right now, the Knicks look like Jalen Brunson's team, and y'all putting pieces around him. So
That's
if,
true.
if that's the approach going into the season, then I think that that'll lead to maybe not apparent chemistry issues, but I think that it'll lead to chemistry issues, and it'll show in just their record. Maybe not even their play, but in terms of their record, because I think that if you're not mesh well, then it'll show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that if they can embrace that there are other assets of on our team and other ways to approach, like we don't have to kill the same way that the Lakers sometimes, even with Brian in the game, Brian was okay. If I want to win, I got to play through AD. If JB
Mm-hmm.
can use Cat and use Mikal Bridges to preserve himself into the fourth quarter, into the second half of the season, then it'll be set up for success. But if they try to play basketball the same way that they played last year, they'll get in and win maybe a series or two in the playoffs. And then when it's time to play basketball, then they're gonna get sent home by a team that's willing to be selfless. With your Rockets, I think that I'm excited, like you said, in terms of the young guys outside of KD and Steven Adams. One thing that I saw from them that I expect to see again last year is that all of those young guys are willing to follow.
Yes.
And they willingly follow Fred Van Fleet, and he was clearly a spark plug for y'all, but not because of him coming off a bench or just because he been here before and he was able
Mm-hmm.
to weather the storm. And they matched his vibe. I think that KD is as much of a cupcake as he is. I think that he's a way better leader, a way better teammate than people give him credit for. And I think that he'll be able to mesh the personalities in the locker room well. I think that he's, a proven winner. And even though we may not have agreed with the way that he won at the end of the day. And I think that y'all got a winning culture in Houston with guys that want to win, and y'all will be able to buy into whatever it is that he and
Definitely.
Steven Adams, but more so him, are saying is necessary.
And the coach, Emeg, we have a great coach, man.
Right.
I love our coach, honestly. Like he always gonna have us ready to play. And so I can't argue with nothing that you're saying. I agree with everything that you said. So yeah. If we don't have anything else, we can leave it right there. Make sure you check us out on Instagram at Everything X Goes. Make sure you come check us out on YouTube. We're gonna have some more videos dropping for you guys. And don't forget, check the story every Thursday and Sunday. We got some tickets dropping for you guys. We had another sweep on Thursday, you mean? And we probably gonna have the same thing this Thursday. So
Feel me? Lock in.
just make sure you lock in. Yep. We catch you on the next one. Peace.
Hearts from my man JR. Shout out to the guys.